Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another First Friday event. This evening, we have some really exciting program for you with two really fun local individuals, one of which has presented for us in the past, but this evening he will be presenting with a family member, his brother. You know, it's been said that a man should hear a little music, read a little poetry, and see a fine picture every day of his life in order that worldly cares may not obliterate his sense of the beautiful. And this evening we have two brothers, the MacNiven Brothers, who are going to be talking about their restaurants and providing us insight into how they select the art that goes into them. Now, this evening's program, once again, is always sponsored by the Woodside Arts and Culture Committee, a committee of like-minded individuals who are concerned and wanting to present interesting and thoughtful presentation once a month with our First Friday. And this evening is no different. Emile Zola once said, "I am here to live out loud." Well, as you can see from the photographs that are on our splash screen, we have two people who definitely live their lives out loud. And so without further ado, I would like to introduce Tyler and Rowan MacNiven. Take it away, guys.
A hot diggity dog. Thank you, Tom, and thank you, the Woodside Arts and Cultures Committee. This is always so much fun for us. We love it. And it's great to be here with you, Ro.
Yeah, this is crazy. I'm actually not even in your time zone. So when they said Zoom, I said, I'll be somewhere.
He's in the Twilight Zone.
Pretty special being here. I saw some names earlier. Randy Schwabacher. I don't know who else is out there, but hi, Woodside. This is
Greetings. Let's blow it up. Let's make this a record breaker. Anyway, we've got some fun in store for you this evening. We've got a video we're going to show you, and this video tours you through our 5 family restaurants. In particular, the art that adorns the walls of each of these restaurants. And the video is 40 minutes, after which we will stick around for a bit and try and come up with some silly answers to your wonderful questions. So without further ado, Rowan, is there anything else you want to say before we kick it off?
I don't have anything to say. Thank you for putting me on the spot. But as we know, Bucks has a history of art on its walls. We did not adopt that 100%, but we did adopt some of that creativity. I think you'll enjoy seeing some of that. So here we go.
All right. It's movie time. So sit back, pour yourself a stiff Friday evening drink, hold your calls, and don your socks, because we're going for a wild ride, ladies and gentlemen. Yeehaw. Oh boy. All right. Oh, and we're going to kick it off with a little bit of shameless self-promotion. I don't know if you all saw the Monday Night Football promo spot for Bucks, but
this is shameful.
Beautiful. Sure. Views made from the stuff of dreams. But behind the scenery, it's serious business, innovation, industry, and full investment from the San Francisco fans in a franchise that brought glory to the Bay and will again. Woo!
I got more to
That is Tyler MacNiven, the owner of Buck's Restaurant of Woodside. No relation. Buck's, a Silicon Valley staple where historic deals took place for Tesla, PayPal, eBay, Hotmail, and more, and still a popular meeting place for entrepreneurs, venture capitalists, as well as former Niners players. Hall of Famer Ronnie Lott is a regular at Buck's Restaurant of Woodside.
Huh. Hey, Ty, have you ever noticed those before?
oh, yeah. I was walking on the ceiling last night, baby. Oh, hey! Hello, everyone. Great to see you from the past to the future. I'm Tyler MacNiven,
And I'm Rowan MacNiven.
and today,
Whoa, are
brother.
we brothers?
No.
Yeah! Today we're taking you on an art tour of our 5 restaurants, 4 of which are in San Francisco, and the 5th is here in Woodside, Bucks. So at our restaurants, we say that we offer 3 things, and those are great food and drink, incredible hospitality and service, making people feel welcome and treat them well. And the third and the last is an amazing ambiance, a decor, a sense of place, a terroir, if you will. And today we're really going to focus on the decor and the history of some of our favorite pieces and what they mean to us.
Art is important to us. Why is it important? Well, if we didn't have it, we'd get pretty bored, wouldn't we? So what art does is it helps that creative side of life, that joy, that passion, and I'm having a great time.
These trees were made by a local artist named Aaron Haldeman, who's an absolute incredible artist, and he actually still works as an artist out of San Francisco. So if you ever need to design any amazing art, this is
That's your guy.
incredible guy. Ask us, we'll introduce you to him. Such a fun person to work with too. Our father just needed a collection of flying nuns, so he put an ad out on Craigslist. Is there anyone else out there who can make these flying nuns? And he found an incredibly talented woman in East Bay who made these flying nuns, and they include ruby slippers, so of course they're the real deal.
Syria president?
Senor, yes. This is the president of Syria. Yeah, he works for us. He works here. Yeah. Oh, uh-oh.
We're filming.
Oh my gosh.
Filming.
Life imitating art, imitating life.
No, because it looks so cute, like the 2 brothers having so
Aw,
much fun.
Horacio.
It's just captured that.
We're sure most of you know Horacio. He's one of our incredible managers here and definitely brings the spirit. He brings the spirit.
This is an incredible mural that was painted when Bucks was open in 1991 by a friend and wonderful artist named Weston Rose.
Yeah.
And
And there's our dad auctioning off all of our stuff.
and I know I'm in here somewhere. I just can never find it.
Wait a second. I think I see you and me causing trouble in the hayloft. The mural goes all the way around the top of the restaurant, and it's really
That'd be funny.
harkens back to good old Americana times, and all the faces are friends and family member and various staff we've had through that we opened the restaurant with. And there's Horacio. Yes.
So you might find some family members of ours on the wall. We have Uncle Carl. My middle name is Carl. There he is in 1929. And
Now I
then
see where you get your good looks.
we also have our late cousins over here, and Gertrude. She was our cousin second removed. Baby.
You know, everything here is true, even if the truth is inconvenient. It's all true. A lot of people wonder, where did your father collect all this incredible stuff? Obviously Amazon, but not Amazon. He made a lot of it. Most of the frames are frames that he made. This airship making was something he made in his workshop out of balsa wood and canvas. And he works with artists from all over the Bay Area and even outside of the Bay Area to create some of his visions. For example, the hammerhead tiger shark. It just was in his mind that he needed a hammerhead tiger shark, and it's not the thing you can buy necessarily on eBay. So he worked with an artist and had a hammerhead tiger shark made.
I love the rivets and how it's peeling back
See the
here.
rivets coming off this jet engine for extra speed.
Everyone needs one of these.
Bucks is also home to one of the most famous carpets in the world, the alligator.
Alligator carpet!
Lost in the storm of 2022/2023.
So the alligator carpet, which many of you may have walked on,
was a carpet that our father designed with an artist to get it just the way he envisioned it, with all these alligators swirling and climbing over each other. And everywhere you went in the restaurant, you were walking on alligators. It was pretty magnificent. So while we took over operations of Bucks after COVID, it wasn't until January 1st of this year that we legally transferred over the business to us. We're owners. So the floods happened and the carpet got destroyed on January 31st of 2022. And so our first day as legal owners of Bucks, it's kind of poetic. We were ripping the carpet off and kind of starting fresh. A new year, a new floor, a new ownership. It was, you know, goodbye to the alligators. They had their final swim down the creek here, and we said good farewell, and that was that.
We're gonna get more.
Oh yes, the alligators may come back. You heard it here first, folks. What's this, Ro?
Art is in the eye of the beholder. In this case, the AI of the beholder, the computer, Apple Computer One. A lot of people get excited about this. I don't know what it means.
So this is Jobs and Wozniak working in the garage on the first Apple computer, the Apple One. And you'll notice that Wozniak actually signed this Apple One computer. Here's a picture of him signing the Apple One. There's our dad sneaking in the back. And, yeah, pretty incredible to be able to display this piece here. Oh, a MacNiven restaurant tour wouldn't be complete without the wreck of the Margaret Ann.
And here it is, as promised, the Margaret Ann.
This is a painting that Weston Rose, who did the mural up top, painted of the wreck of the Margaret Ann, which was off Pigeon Point, California in 1871. And you can see here, trying to rescue and salvage some of the cargo as
This dog got tired from playing green sleeves over 100 times.
That's true. That dog is famous for that. And look, there's the painting being painted. We are inside the canvas. Some of you may remember that we as a species used to bronze our baby shoes. This is a collection of bronze baby shoes framed by James MacNiven and
worn by my twins.
yes, it's a lot of bronze. That's where it all went.
So if you don't see me at Bucks, I'm usually in here in the office.
Oh man, we really need to tidy this place up, don't we? Type.
Doing
Count
this.
that money. Sell.
Count the money, drinking
Buy.
water.
Wait a second.
We should put that up.
Yeehaw. Dad has always been an artist. This is a piece he did in the 70s. It's oil on wood. Acrylic. Sorry, Dad. And it's one of my favorite pieces here. The sun is spitting out cows, which are parachuting down into a field. There's some groundhogs in the boxes too. Then they hit the field and start grazing, and the groundhogs. Oh, and the insects are speaking on fishing.
What year was that painted?
Before the wind people and the river people come to my lodge for lunch. And you can see that the volcano 75. nearby has got trees coming out on clouds that are being dropped down to create a forest. And also the sun has got these birds flying out of it, which are turning into fish, which splash in the water. And there's a spigot of rainbows, and it's just so bright and vivid and colorful. And in the bottom right there, you can actually see Dad with a little paintbrush painting the little flowers, finishing the painting inside of the painting. Come take a look at this. Absolutely one of my top favorite pieces here at the restaurant. So one of our servers from a long time ago had this idea that my dad ended up making a prototype of called the catch and release fly swatter. So it's a fly swatter where you can catch the fly in a spring activated cage and release it outside.
We're gonna need a couple more of those this summer.
And there was the original brochure to advertise for the catch and release fly swatter, only $29.95, and that was in the late 90s.
That's me.
Is it really? It
looks like you, but I'll
Yeah, I'm there too.
Oh, what? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, excuse me. Now let's leave Bucks and head up north to San Francisco to visit our other restaurants up there.
So at Woodhouse, we serve primarily seafood. We were inspired by East Coast and West Coast seafood because you both have these delicious things. Oh, this guy cutting things right now. Should we tell him to stop? So we're inspired by not only the East Coast, but San Francisco seafood. So we have Dungeness crab, as well as Maine lobster rolls, fish tacos, fish and chips, salads, crab salads. We have an excellent cioppino dish. We have crab cakes. We got the gambit of seafood here. You're not gonna go hungry. You're gonna find what you like. We've been here since 2008. That's 14 years, which is so wild to say out loud. This is our second Woodhouse location. Our other one's on Market Street. Here we have a giant squid, which was actually developed and made before they discovered I think they hadn't seen a squid this big before until recently. So now you get video footage of giant squids. So this tentacle wraps outside the building. Originally we had an artist make this, I think he was from Santa Rosa, and it was conceptualized as a group effort, and we wanted it to be kind of shrunken into the wall, but he elongated it. But hey, when you put your faith in an artist, you get what they think is right. And then this case, it ended up working out. People love this piece. Come on, take a look at the art. Here we have a giant mural. This is Bean Hollow, and Bean Hollow is just south of Pescadero. We wanted to bring the sea to the people. And this is a fun mural. This is actually made out of fabric, so if it ever gets dirty, we just print another one. This mural is about 32 feet
Because it's so
long.
long, we could add a lot of detail, as you can see here. There we have a fishing boat. Let's zoom into that fishing boat there, and you can see the waves.
This is some video art that we filmed up and down the California coast. The TV is embedded in the wall with a golden frame. This image of the crabbers is up the coast in Crescent City, Oregon. And then we also filmed around San Francisco as well. The video itself is almost 2 hours, and there's some pretty fun, slow-moving, kind of nice ambient fishing footage there. Oh, whoa, who's this?
There, if you look in the middle, there's Dylan as a little boy, and there's me on the left. Tyler, I don't think you made this one here. There's me.
Yeah, well, no, this is Grandpa Woodhouse, great-grandpa Woodhouse.
that's
This
right,
is the
yeah.
origins of the Woodhouse Fish Company. See, they looked a lot like us back then. Yes.
So when we do our checks, we have these antique anchovy tins. We thought that was a nice little touch. And then here above the mural, you'll find fishing boats from different eras, and some are custom made, some we made ourselves, some come from this wonderful bay called eBay.
This is the famous fish drawing by Pablo Picasso.
We had a celebrity take some pictures of this to Dave Chappelle.
And Dave Chappelle took pictures of this. That's right. Yeah.
He was laughing.
That's pretty funny. Oh, and then of course, a MacNiven restaurant isn't complete without a reference to the Margaret Ann. Margaret being our mother's name, Margaret Ann, her middle name.
And this is one of my favorite things at Woodhouse. You know, if we go in a little tighter, you can see some pretty intricate detail of what a classic fishing boat would look like. You can see the crab pots there, along with the necessary tools. But just take a look at this detail here, and you won't notice that detail unless you take this video tour.
And the artist is none other than Jameis MacNiven.
We hire him a lot. He's very talented.
He spends a lot of time on his models. It's so great when he gets into a model because he dives into it. Like this, for example, 19th century whaleboat. At one point, there were as many as 50,000 of these whaleboats, and now there's just only a dozen left.
Well, there's not that many whales left, so
yeah.
and good reason. But it is a fascinating piece of history. Again, please take a look at this detail.
Yeah. So when he does these models, he'll often do them in the house. He'll clear a table and he'll spend weeks just so passionately obsessing over the fine details, like the little rigging and the wiring and the harpoons. That's all made by him, and stained and painted and glued. Every single little piece was made by him.
I remember him making this one specifically for this location. We're
Little knives, yeah.
very lucky to have this piece here.
Axe, all those custom made.
Oysters! Every Tuesday, we do $1-ish oysters. Oh.
So 1 in every 10,000 of these have a pearl. What happens when we find a pearl in it?
When we find a pearl in an oyster, usually the guest finds it. If we're lucky, a guest will say, "We found a pearl in our oyster." And when we do that, we frame it and we put it on the wall with their name on it.
I don't like oysters.
Lemon.
Oh, you love them. Yeah, it's good oyster. I didn't always like
Oysterlific!
Before we head to our next restaurant, Wooden Spoon, Rowan just wants to say something.
Yeah, so that I'll just make it quick. That current location is actually closed due to the seismic retrofit project, which the city has put an ordinance that all buildings over 3 stories or something need to be earthquake proof. So we are currently going over mass renovations. It's a mess in there. It's so sad to see, but we're gonna get it back looking so nice. And remember that oyster reference. That'll come back.
Yeah, it should be ready in about a month. So, but don't worry, we got other restaurants if you get hungry in San Francisco, and here they are.
Ah, Wooden Spoon, the most delicious coffee drinks and breakfast north of Bucks. And here we have colorful dishes of Benedicts and house hashes and tuna melts. I love this place.
Oh, thou who seeks a place of culinary wonder, look no further than the Wooden Spoon yonder, with walls adorned with spoons of wood, and dishes that transport thee to a home-cooked mood. Upon entering, a feeling of warmth, as though thou hast been welcomed in by kin of worth. The aroma of roasted meats and savory pies shall dance around thy nose and make thee wise. The Wooden Spoon boasts a menu divine, where every dish hath a taste that will shine. From soups and stews to fish and chips, every bite a journey of culinary trips. But what makes this place truly shine are the spoons of wood, a decor so fine. From ceiling to wall they do abound, a symbol of meals that bring thee down to ground. Thou may ask, what does this mean? It means a meal that feels like a dream, a meal that reminds thee of days gone by, when food was simple, yet it could make thee cry. So come, thou seeker of culinary bliss, and let the Wooden Spoon seal it with a kiss. With spoons of wood and food so true, thou wilt leave with memories that forever will ensue.
Chef August, the most talented man you'll ever meet, is responsible for the delicious food at all 5 of the restaurants. Anything you want to say to the town of Woodside?
It's been such a pleasure to get to know some of you and cook for you all.
And we also, our older brother has the music venue Cafe du Nord downstairs from the Wooden Spoon. And we thought, hey, let's warm the stage up a little bit with some riveting and sultry dancers. Look out, Woodside!
I just ran from our other restaurant. It's over there, but here we are at our first location in San Francisco, Woodhouse Fish Company on Market Street, corner 14th and Market. Thanks for coming. Woodhouse Fish. We did it. We're restaurateurs. I don't know what order this is going to be edited in, but this is our last stop today. Come on in.
Besides, pay us $1.
Yeah.
This restaurant is actually angled like a triangle, so it feels like a ship when you're in it. And here's some of the original Woodhouse fishers from over 100 years ago on the East Coast, enjoying a little break after a long day of crabbing. And an old harpoon, which we stopped using to catch our fish after Fish and Game got wind of it. And look, another wreck of the Margaret Ann. What's a MacNiven restaurant without an image or a reference to the wreck of the Margaret Ann?
So here we are at our first location. This is table 12, the infamous table 12, next to a window. But look, one of the pearls. So one day somebody came in here, Chris Lindland, and he ate 33 oysters, and we're like, that's so many oysters. And then my grandma came in and ate 50 oysters. And so we're like, we should start, giving people trophies. So if they break the record, they get their name on the wall. Now, these are the people who've broken the record since. Now, even though we have Stephen Pratt as the winner, Kendra was the most impressive because she blew the old record out of the water by almost 100 oysters.
Yeah.
And she was about 5 feet tall. And then she had a bread pudding. And she also had a calamari. And she was like still hungry. And I could not believe. And then this guy, he was about 6'6", about 250 pounds, big guy. And he struggled.
Sorry, blocking you.
That was over 10 years ago. Look, 2011. What year is it? How does time work again? Huh. Where am I? Who am I?
How about this squid?
That squid was made by a local artist, Finch. You may have seen his honey bears around town. Come on in, sir. How are you? Good. Yeah, anywhere you feel comfortable.
Oh, another poem you want? Well, another poem you get. Because in San Francisco by the sea, there's a restaurant that serves seafood with glee. Woodhouse Fish Co. is its name, serving up East Coast style fish and chips with fame. The aroma of lobster rolls and clam chowder will entice you to order and devour the fresh catch from the ocean, prepared to perfection with devotion. And if you're lucky enough to find a pearl in your oyster, a gem of one kind, they'll frame it and hang it on the wall for all to see, a treasure for all. The ambiance is cozy and warm, welcoming you from the busty city's swarm. The staff is friendly and kind, making your dining experience refined. So, hey, if you're in San Francisco, take a stroll to the Woodhouse Fish Co. and enjoy the role of a seafood connoisseur, a foodie supreme, for this restaurant is a dream come true. So it seems.
Comes off. We've been here since 2006, and over the years, this specific location is only 850 square feet, and we've worked really hard to maximize everything in the restaurant. Small kitchen, small floor plan, but lets us be creative. So it's really fun to have your own spot, because sometimes I look at an empty spot on the wall and I say, something should be there. And then I ask somebody, wait, I'm the person to ask. So I just find something cool and I put it on the wall. And it's like an empty canvas for us. We get to put our art on the wall. Whether we made the thing, whether we found this cool tchotchke at a flea market in Alameda, or maybe somebody gave it to us. I mean, $8 alone, half that stuff was given to us. We were just given a few Clipper ship models the other day that now are displayed on our oyster display there. And it's pretty interesting. Ooh, thank you, Herman. Awesome. You can just
Are you sharing?
Yes.
Let me get a couple
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
There you go. Salmon tacos.
Wow. Fish and chips. Thank you, Herman.
Sure.
It's
Okay.
delicious.
I was telling Chef the other day, oh, food is art. He goes, that's more of a craft. Right.
Welcome to West of Pecos. What do we have here? Oh, tacos, chicken mole, squash enchiladas, margaritas. Don't mind if I do. So this is the other mural up top by Kian Eggett. You can see there's telephone poles and various Southwestern designs. Oh no! Looks like I gotta get up there and paint over that. Jeez. They're getting creative, aren't they? But it's a 60-foot wide restaurant front on Valencia Street, so definitely a beast of a restaurant. Hope you all can make it over someday.
Our inspiration to open a Southwestern restaurant came from so many trips when we were kids to the Southwest. We just loved the big sky, the incredible, robust, vibrant flavors, and of course, the whole aesthetic, the buildings and the artwork.
West of Pecos is a Southwestern-inspired restaurant with a full cocktail bar and fun, tasty food. As you enter through the doors, you've got the fire burning, the kivas on both sides, the Lucky Horseshoe. Wow. Axe door handles. So cool. This is some of the food that we feature in West of Pecos. Oh, and the first decoration to meet you on the wall here is the longest Texas longhorn skull in the world. That's right. Dad did not make that out of paper mache. It is actually a real Texas longhorn skull. We've got New Mexican Santa Fe red chilies draped from the ceilings with little red lights. I like to think they're little red fireflies in each of them. And some of my favorite decorations are the Kachina dolls here. The Kachina dolls are from the Hopi Reservation in Arizona, and they each represent a different ancestral spirit of the Southwest. So we have Corn Dancer, we have the Bean Dance, Second Mesa. Each one of these has a very significant, important part of Hopi life. I just love how each of them has so much character. Love this place.
What? We're walking up there too, huh, Ty?
Couldn't help myself. So people ask, where does the name West of Pecos come from? Well, let me give you a little history lesson. So this is Texas, a map of Texas. It's not actually Texas. 1872. You can see here in East Texas, all the borders, counties, jurisdictions, cities, all the writing and civilization. Here in West Texas, there's really nothing. It's lawless. The Old West, this was the true quintessential wild, wild West. This is the Pecos River. Traveling through here, we've got the Pecos Wilderness. And so they said there was nothing west of the Pecos but rattlesnakes and bad men. And Now there's us and margaritas. We worked with a local artist named Kian Eggett. This mural is inspired by a children's book called Arrow to the Sun. Here you can see Pueblo, Starry Night, the corn, and our brand for west of Pecos is an actual brand, and it's a P with an arrow going west, so it's west of Pecos, the symbolism there. This is a painting that our father Jameis did. So you can see the cattle here on the snowy plains with the lone cowboy, and you pull back the expanse. Absolutely one of my favorite paintings of all time, and I feel so lucky every time I get to look at it. I'm really inspired.
Go Margaret Ann!
Oh, hey, look. It's superstar BJ Averill from The Amazing Race. Say hello to Woodside.
Hi, Woodside.
Still weird. Our friend Ken Woodrow took that picture. And look, more Kachina dolls, because I just got Kachina crazy when we picked these up, and the dolls just go on and on and on, and then suddenly I found myself in my middle ages as a doll collector. No apologies, none whatsoever. So here in one of the restrooms, we've got these little decorations over the toilet paper, and when we first opened up, oh look, there's a West of the Pecos. When we first opened up, people would leave and they'd say, hey, I love the details. And I'd say, you went to the bathroom, yeah? And they said, yeah, I went to the bathroom. Because everyone really would sit and just recognize these little details. You know what oh gosh, this one's turned. Oh man, I'll just turn the camera. How's that? In the women's room, we have all sorts of framed Pecos Bill books to pay homage to the great Pecos Bill. And here in the men's room, we have all sorts of rattlesnake skins here. This one had a very interesting head that we couldn't help but find different, fascinating. Well, hey there. More rattlesnakes, because technically this is the room where you shake the snake. Oh! And speaking of snakes, we have the world's longest rattlesnake skin up here above the bar. Found that in the backyard. We served up snake tacos for weeks afterwards. This is a Huichol beaded skull from the Huichol tribe in Mexico. All beaded. On its forehead is a peyote button. One of my other favorite pieces at Pecos. Just so stunning and beautiful. You know, you want to always collect arrowheads, and then you get to put them on a wall in your own restaurant. It's just like being a kid. Getting to collect all this stuff and to display it for your friends and strangers and future friends. Here we have a collection of sheriff's and marshal badges, all authentic badges from the Old West, and assembled a collection together using modern technology. And here they are, popped them in a frame, and I just love the idea of each of these badges representing some form of law at one point. And now, since no one's wearing them, it's lawless. One of our managers, Elmer. Elmer, yes, hello. Oh, come on in, yeah. We're shooting an infomercial. Not all of the art on our walls is sanctioned art. Occasionally, excited street artists decide to cover my beautiful red door with their beautiful pink, but it just clashes, so I paint over it. This happens all the time. I spend a lot of time painting over other people's art. But that's what you get to do when you're the boss.
Nice, Ty.
And here are some restaurants that we made using artificial intelligence tools. So we ran this through the program Midjourney, which is an AI tool, and got some inspiration for some potential future restaurants. Look at that, the big alligator, fun kind of space themed, retro themed restaurants, underwater theme. I just love some of the details in these pictures, like the wall there with the moon and the chairs in this one. And then these Southwestern restaurants are just so much fun to look at, and you can just generate thousands of images, get inspired.
Yeah, the Storm's pal is a great decision because he's digging in. And we have Bucks here. That's a little legend of the Quesable. And then the Storm's picking up speed. You can't resist it.
I had to add the kids in there. This is them giving a storm recap during the great storms on New Year's Day. And not all the art is decorative art. Sometimes there's some performance art, like this next clip we're going to see. Hit it! Congratulations! Our 14,345,117th customer! Congratulations! Come on over, Aaron!
Congratulations.
Congratulations, yes! Oh!
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you, thank
We're so happy for you guys.
As our 14,345,117th customer, all your coffee drinks are free today! Yay! Oh, yeah! And your official award, we have our 14,345,117th customer here today. Very exciting. Very exciting. Enjoy this moment of celebration. Wow. Congratulations.
Our father and mother played a big part in the art here, especially at Bucks. And now that they're retired, we're pretty excited to add some of our own elements to the restaurant. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned. And we'd like to give a special thank you to Dad for creating and inspiring so much of the art that we saw today, and to Mom for doing such an incredible job keeping the restaurant well run and really paying attention to the numbers. We'd also like to thank our incredible staff, who none of this would be possible without, because they really every day bring that special sauce and allow us to really enjoy our offerings here in these spaces.
That secret sauce.
That secret sauce, the secret sauce. And we would like to thank our brother Dylan, the unmentioned brother in this video so far.
He's
but
the brains of the operation.
He really is. He spends all his time in the back of house so we can have so much fun in the front of house. And he's a genius. He's an amazing person to work with. We feel incredibly lucky to work with him. Anything
Humbled and honored.
Humbled and honored. Dylan, we love you very much, and none of this would be possible without you.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you. And then, of course, every one of you, thank you so much for supporting our restaurants. Thanks for joining this evening. We've had so much fun showing you some of our art, and stay tuned for more.
Thank you.
Tiny and cute, a monster with a smile. Hat, tie, and boots, he's got a lot of style. He's sailing rubber duckies down your hall. Your train tracks running all around the wall. He loves to joke, he'll try to make you laugh.
Good job, Ty.
Is anyone still there?
I am.
Hey, all right.
I really enjoyed that.
Ah,
We all enjoyed that.
Did you?
It was quite a roller coaster ride. I had no idea about all of the art that you had collected. I love the fact that you pay homage not only to your father, but also to your mom, and that your dad did that with all of the boats that he made for her. That was really excellent. So we have some questions for you, restaurateurs, you bon vivants, you guys about Northern California. One of them, which may be challenging for you to answer, is how do you dust everything?
Great question. We don't.
We actually, with each of our janitorial services, we ask them to do some dusting. It frequently gets missed a lot, and I'd say like if you talk to any of our managers, every time we do a manager meeting, we always talk about our cleanliness and how important it is, because we feel like if you have a clean front of house, it symbolizes to everyone subconsciously that we have a clean back house as well. So we take food safety protocol and cleanliness measures in front of house and back house extremely seriously. And so the decorations are kind of the front view of that. So we're kind of always harping on people, and especially Bucks, where we have a lot of kids. The oily grease fingerprints get put everywhere. So there are multiple times a day where the staff is spraying and Windexing, and Rowan and I do it too. Whenever we see it, we kind of go after it. And if we ever see an employee Windexing or cleaning or dusting, they get a huge hallelujah, a big thank you in a moment. You're my hero. This is amazing. And we have this phrase that we use all the time, which is time to lean, time to clean. So if there's ever a dull moment, which occasionally and very infrequently there is, then we ask that the staff continue to clean, because it's an ongoing process. It's really not a task as much as a practice. And
window glass holding the redwood tree display. Actually, the redwood trees are made of this material that oxidized and actually caused the window to look like there were handprints on the inside, but you couldn't get inside. So we took off the window and dropped it, and it didn't break. And we cleaned it inside and put it back.
Fantastic. Okay, so we've seen the different restaurants, and I know that each of you has your own interesting, shall we say, personality, but among the restaurants, you must have a favorite object of the art. So Tyler, what is your favorite piece that you found in any of your restaurants?
hands down, the cash register.
Always say that.
All right. Favorite piece? Gosh, you're asking me which is my favorite.
And I have a quick answer.
All right, you go.
Only because it's been a recent topic of controversy. The Braille Playboy at Bucks is the most ironic piece, and it's signed by Stevie Wonder.
Wow.
Yeah. I actually, the piece that we highlighted in this, the acrylic painting that my dad did in the 70s, a lot of this, I think it's extra special when a family member has made something, and to get to watch him kind of craft over these paintings and models and clay sculptures over the years has been such a joy and an inspiration. But that one piece that he did before all of us were born, I think, to me it's not only really beautiful, it's kind of vivid and just bright, resounding, popping colors, but it just in such a small area captures so much creativity and wonder and fantasy. So for me, that's probably the one thing I'd grab if there was a fire and had to run out the building.
I want to change my answer. I want that. I want that one too. That used to actually
carry it out together. You can carry it out together.
Well, you should grab something else, Ro, because I already grabbed that one on the way out. So
I'm grabbing the redwoods.
The redwoods.
Redwoods are great.
Yeah, and Aaron's still a friend of ours. We love him dearly, and it's such an incredible piece. There were some video clips that didn't make it in this, but when you all make it to Bucks, go and take a closer look at the redwoods. There's such fine detail, and you go in, there's little people, and Julia Butterfly Hill, who was sitting in one of those Oregon redwoods for months, protecting
2 years.
Years, yes. is in there, and you can see her in her little house up in the redwoods. And just such a magical piece.
Someone is asking if your dad is still painting and creating now that he's retired from restaurants.
Yes, he actually made some children's books for our firstborn daughters, and they sit on the shelf and they love them. Thank you so much for those, Dad.
Yeah, I don't know if any of you have seen his car driving through town. He recently, oh man, you gotta see, you'll see a rusted Tesla Model X with rivets lining the whole thing. Basically, it looks like a steampunk Tesla driving through town. Yeah, that is pretty incredible. He's working on a big art project now that that when you see him or come to Bucks or visit us and ask us about, we'll tell you all the details about that one too. But yeah, he's definitely, I mean, I feel he really started as an artist and continued throughout his entire life to be one, and there's no stopping him. There's no sitting down and sitting still. He's got a big workspace that he takes advantage of and will always continue to make art.
And then someone's asking, does he still have his lime green car?
Yeah, the
Oh,
golden, wait, the lime green or the
it
golden?
was the Rolls Royce, the convertible. I love that car. And he would wear an alligator suit with it, and his Great Dane dog would be hanging out the back. It was just like a scene out of a storybook, and you'd be like, "What?"
That car? No, we decided to Thelma and Louise that car a long time ago.
Okay. Now, having this many restaurants has got to be a very challenging environment, even though there's 3 of you that are spreading out this responsibility. So during the pandemic, how did you survive? How did the restaurants work during that time?
Well, the brains of the operation, Dylan, really got us through the pandemic. We definitely wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for him. As each restaurant has its own story of how we got through. They all got through. I think Bucks has the most interesting story. My parents basically grabbed a huge bag of dried beans from the back of the restaurant, a gallon of maple syrup, and loaded up all their guns up where they live in the mountains of Woodside, and said, "We're not coming back." And we said, what about this great restaurant? What's going to happen here? So the 3 of us and our daughters were looking at all the art on the wall, and we said, "Oh, we just got to make this place work. We got to figure it out." And so we did. We just got creative. We pivoted. I don't know if anybody remembers when we reopened Bucks, but all we had were 3 items on the menu. And I remember my old music teacher, Mr. Vaughn, going, "That's it?" It's like, pandemic, so we just got creative. And again, that creativity comes from our oldest brother, Dylan, who's savvy with the numbers, and Tyler.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the characteristics of life, something that defines life, is being able to adapt and survive to the environment. And in the restaurant business, if you're going to survive, you have to adapt. So with each restaurant, it was in the city, we did a lot of to-go business. We opened up 3 outdoor dining areas at Bucks, the Woodhouse on Fillmore, and west of Pecos, we have outdoor tables. And so that includes heat lamps and different table setups and different configurations. When it gets cold, that means there are fewer people dining because of the outdoor situation. So you have to really be on top of your staffing to keep the numbers from getting too out of control. So really, it's kind of just continuing to do a pulse check at each of the restaurants. And if a restaurant is suffering, we're always focusing on it and taking a close look and seeing what we can do better. I think that out of the pandemic, one of the greatest things is that our communication style as brothers and business partners got really good. It forced us to get really open and honest with each other and address our strengths, address our weaknesses. We continue to do so, but I think it it empowered us in a way that we hadn't been before the pandemic. So we're really excited about the next 10, 20 years to see where we can take the restaurant business. And we'll see. Hopefully we can do more of these video tours for you.
Well, someone has put in the chat that congratulations for keeping Buck alive and for making outdoor dining a reality for Woodside. We look like a real village and not a ghost town.
Our pleasure. And at the end of the video, I say humbled and honored, and it's so true. What our parents did with Bucks is so magical. I still have people coming in to this day who say, "Oh, your dad and your mom, they're the best people. Oh, they're so great." I go, "I know, but you think so too? That's really cool." And they really put a pretty cool legacy in Woodside, and it is truly amazing to be a part of that and to take over and see where we go and see where we take it. And doing this is so fun. Like, thank you for having us. This is awesome.
Yeah, we hope we get to carry the Bucks torch on for another 30 years, and hopefully one day, if things work out, 1 or 5 or 6 or 10 of our children can keep the torch going.
So I was just going to ask, the next question is, what's next for the MacNiven Brothers? What do we have? We saw the little fun thing that you did with AI on restaurant development, but is there something really in the works?
So we're going to all need to sign an NDA. No, I'm just kidding. Tyler, what do we got?
We love this. I'm down here visiting my in-laws right now, and we're just talking. When Monday happens and it's Monday, I'm excited. I look forward to going to the restaurants. I love the crew that we get to work with. I've got a strong appetite for meeting humanity, for humankind. It's a business that works really well for who we are, and we want to keep doing it. So our plan is to focus on the existing restaurants and make them succeed to the best of our abilities. And if future opportunities arise, we'll certainly consider them.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, because one of our viewers who signs himself Dad says, "Where's my check?"
In the mail.
It's in the mail. It's in the mail, Dad. It's been there for a long time too. You know what? Why didn't I put it in your college fund? How's that? That's what he would tell us growing up.
Yeah.
But yeah, this has been a really fun restaurant tour. And as a restaurateur, I can say that. Actually, it's something that's interesting. Tom, can you spell restaurateur?
Yes.
All right, let's hear it.
Well, I'm not going to do it now. We're running out of time.
I like to put you on the spot.
Exciting adventure.
Well, what's interesting is that, so I've been spelling restaurateur incorrectly for my entire life, and that's my profession. Restaurateur is commonly spelt restaurateur with an N, but there's no N in restaurateur.
That is correct.
Yeah.
He knew.
You're a genius, Tom. I knew you would know. That's why I asked you.
Hey, so gentlemen, and it's okay, it may not be true, but our viewers think so. I just want to thank you both so much for giving us another wild ride in the imagination and the reality of a historic, really historic place for Woodside, and that is Bucks and the rest of your other restaurants. I think you will have some Woodside residents visiting your other locations after this tour. And so thank you again for joining us this evening. You know, Henry Matisse said, creativity takes courage. And I think the MacNiven Brothers have certainly shown a lot of courage and a lot of creativity in everything that you do, not just with the restaurants, but how you've conducted your lives. So thank you again for joining us. And hopefully we'll get you back another time.
Would love that. Thank you, Tom. Thank you,
so
Woodside
much.
Arts and Culture Committee. Thank you, everyone, for joining this evening and spending your precious Friday evening real estate hour with us. It means a lot. And hopefully we'll see you at the restaurants real soon. That'd be great. Come say hello, please.
Yes, because one cannot think well, love well, and sleep well if one has not dined well. And I think that could happen at any of your restaurants. So thank you again. And thank you, our audience, for joining us this evening. I hope you enjoyed this presentation of the Woodside Arts and Culture Committee. Next month, we have part 2 of Jim Caldwell's exploration of Michelangelo's Sistine Chapel. So be sure to tune in. Until that time, take care of each other. Remember, a community needs you. Take care. Have a good evening. Good night.
Toodaloo.
Everybody. Adios.
I didn't even know.